Eddie McGuire stepped up to help shield Shane Warne's family from intense public interest during his private funeral on Sunday. The seasoned television presenter, who was also a good mate of Warne's, offered advice and took the reins when planning key details of the service. There were concerns about how private the service could be given the venues St Kilda Football Club and the adjoining Moorabbin Reserve are easily accessible. But Warne's family chose the location for sentimental purposes and were determined to make it work. Police were deployed to the outskirts of the location, with further security guards employed to support cops. Eddie McGuire stepped up to help shield Shane Warne's family from intense public interest during his private funeral on Sunday. Jackson Warne and Warne's brother Jason helped carry the cricketing legend's coffin as Brooke and Summer watch on during Sunday's service. The seasoned television presenter, who was also a good mate of Warne's, offered advice and took the reins when planning key details of the service. Pictured, the order of service for Shane Warne's private funeral on Sunday at St Kilda Football Club and Moorabbin Park. Ed Sheeran will attend Shane Warne's public memorial virtually due to previous commitments. McGuire also offered some very sage advice to Warne's immediate family, which allowed them to be as private as possible, while also meeting the realities of the 52-year-old Spin King's very public life. And Eddie planned the whole thing right down to the heads list given to the media of the names of every person attending, entertainment reporter Peter Ford told Today. The family allowed 2 television cameras to shoot the outdoor procession after the main service had ended. In emotional scenes, Warne's son Jackson embraced and kissed the coffin, which was draped in a St Kilda Saint scarf, in a heart-wrenching final goodbye to his beloved dad. After completing 1 lap of the oval, Warne's son Jackson kissed the coffin in a heart-wrenching final goodbye to his dad. Former wife of Australian cricket superstar Shane Warne, Simone Callaghan, and fellow mourners toast the hearse carrying Warne on a lap of the ground after a private service at the St Kilda Football Club in Melbourne on March 20, 2022. Chris Martin has penned an original song, which will be played around the globe during Warne's funeral. The pair were good friends. 2 other songs played during the outdoor part of the service were Fix You by Coldplay and finally, as Warne's body was driven away for a final time, Simply the Best by Tina Turner. Emotional lyrics from the Coldplay song include Lights Will Guide You Home and Tears Stream Down Your Face when you lose something you cannot replace. Simply the Best was fitting for the icon of Australian cricket, who was exactly that, the best. Warne's youngest daughter, Summer, was in tears as the service drew to a close, while his oldest daughter, Brooke, kept sunglasses on during the procession. Guests, wearing their matching saint scarves, were instructed to put their glasses high to the sky for one final farewell. To Warne, McGuire, who also doubled as MC at the funeral, said as cheers erupted from the crowd. Shane Warne, who aged 52 of a heart attack on March 4 in Koh Samui, Thailand, will be farewelled publicly on March 30 at a state funeral. Eddie McGuire, former Test captain Alan Border, and former fast bowler Merv Hughes walk into Warne's funeral at the St Kilda Football Club HQ. Sam Newman embraces a woman alongside former AFL stars Campbell Brown and Aaron Hamill. Guests, wearing their matching saint scarves, were instructed to put their glasses high to the sky for one final farewell of the cricket icon. Ford said on Monday, "This was all done with the family's permission. They accepted that was the reality, and it was a classy, dignified thing they did to allow us to share these private family moments." McGuire and fellow guest and commentator Sam Newman made themselves available to offer a short tribute in Warne's honor to the media before the service began. They basically said, "We're old pros, we can do it. Just don't harass the family or other guests," Ford said. During his moving chat with journalists, McGuire spoke of Warne's jovial and happy-go-lucky nature, noting he loved his life. "The reason why he was so loved is because he was fallible, he was Superman. He did the things you dreamt of doing as a kid." The magic part about Shane Warne was that he sprinkled his gold dust everywhere he went. Youngest daughter Summer Warne was in tears as the service drew to a close, as Merv Hughes and Mark Howard are among those emotionally watching on. Jackson was seen clenching a cricket ball, a golf club and a brochure as he left the emotional funeral procession. Eddie McGuire and wife Carla arrives for Warne's private funeral on Sunday. The Fox Footy present will host proceedings. McGuire also noted Warne's notorious eating habits, reminiscing on how he was always unapologetically himself. He didn't become a hermit, he brought his friends into everything in life. He would go to Michelin-star restaurants and order pizza in, he said. McGuire said it was fitting the service was held at the St Kilda Football Club, given Warne's passion for the team and the sport. He could walk with kings, but never forgot those who walked around the streets of Melbourne. Now that the family and Warne's close friends have mourned him privately, their attention will turn to the state funeral scheduled for March 30th at the MCG. Up to 50,000 fans are expected to attend, with countless more expected to stream the service online. One of the last pictures taken of Shane Warne hours before he's at a luxury resort in KOH Samui. McGuire has had a hand in organising the public event too, with his production house Jam TV responsible for broadcasting the service across Australian TVs. The ABC, 9, 7 and Foxtel will all broadcast the service live for anybody unable to attend in person, while the SCG will host Sydney fans. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin will publicly debut a song he wrote in his good mate's honour, titled The Eulogy. Guests at Warne's private funeral were given a first taste of the song when it played during the service. Ed Sheeran and Elton John are both also expected to attend remotely and perform for the service. Pictured, Ed Sheeran and Shane Warne. It's understood Martin will perform the song via video link, as he cannot get to Australia to attend the service live. It's a sad, emotional song, Ford said. You can guarantee it will go to number 1 on the charts the next day. Millions of people will hear it. Ed Sheeran and Elton John are both also expected to attend remotely and perform for the service. Prime Minister Scott Morrison will also be present. Warne was found unresponsive in his luxury villa at the Samujana Resort on KOH Samui, Thailand, about 5 p.m. on Friday, March 4th after suffering a heart attack. His close friend Andrew Neoffitou performed CPR on Warne for up to 20 minutes before first responders arrived and took over, but could not save him.